Hey guys, Rusty and Heather Bryant back with the Redeemed Marriage Podcast, and we're on our special Christmas edition where we've been going through the 12 days of questions, where we've been answering your questions. We've had great questions. We are on day number 9.
Day 9.
So it means that Christmas is almost
right
here.
Around the corner.
Yep. And so this question is not actually one that we're just going to read to you because it actually stems from a response that we got based on a question that we did a few days ago. And so the question we did a few days ago was asking about waiting. And it was from a single lady that was asking how you wait well when you're waiting on a spouse.
Yep.
And we talked about that, but we also talked about waiting in marriage because there's so many times during marriage that you're waiting on your spouse for different reasons. And so the response that we got was basically saying, I know I'm supposed to wait, I'm waiting on my spouse. I'm waiting for some change to come. And it was sort of, how long do I wait? I just need some affirmation as I'm waiting. How do I wait well? That sort of thing. And so it really sparked us to remember a tool that we learned when we were at our marriage intensive 9 years ago. And so we just wanted to share that tool with you because we think it's a great tool for anybody that's waiting on their spouse in marriage. And maybe waiting's not even the perfect word for it, but you'll get into it.
Right, yeah. So I asked very passionately to take the lead on this one because I saw firsthand how well this tool works. It was unbelievable. I had tried all the things that they said not to do, and when we got a hold of this tool, it really changed a lot for our marriage. So a lot of times a spouse will do what they call build a wall where where the spouse has been injured. So in our case, when I was unfaithful, Rusty of course needed to, and without blame, built a wall because he had been hurt. So I had to wait and wait well on that wall to be removed, and that is with forgiveness. I had to wait on forgiveness. Of course, he forgave me in a moment, but forgiveness is also a process. And so waiting on that forgiveness and what that looked like, waiting on trust to return. I completely broke his trust. But this can also be when a spouse has been injured in any way, and it doesn't even have to be that the other person hurt them.
Right.
This could be something, maybe a spouse loses their job, and that's an identity thing, especially for a man. It could be if you lose, God forbid, if you lose a child. We've seen so many marriages that struggle after losing a child because you deal with it differently. It can be even as something little as a disagreement about something, and you've been hurt either by the world or by your spouse. And so the other person builds up a wall to protect themselves. And so it's not just a wall to make you mad, it's a wall of protection for their heart.
That's good.
And so there are four ways.
It's for safety. It's for
safety. That's right. That's right. So there's 4 ways that you can respond to that wall. And I tried the 3 over and over again. I tried them over and over again. The first one, and the one that I chose most often, was I tried to tear down the wall. I tried to prove to him. I tried to show him. I tried to force myself back into him forgiving me and him trusting me. And what I found is that Rusty could build that wall back faster than I could tear it down. So every little stone that I thought I removed, he would build it right back up. And that wasn't working, and it doesn't work.
Yeah, and a lot of times it's kind of the whole 1 step forward, 2 steps
That's
back.
Right.
You would make some progress and then something would happen, maybe even a trigger like we talked about yesterday.
Yeah.
And I would just build it higher.
That's right.
And I'd just make a bigger and stronger wall.
That's right. That's right. So that wasn't helping to make it come down or to be removed. The second thing that they said, and I just never felt this way, but I think that a lot of people do, is they just choose to run. They just flee. It's like, you know what? If you don't want me to help you with this, if you don't want to try, then I'm just running away. And for us, praise the Lord, that was just not an option. God just never allowed that to come into either one of our hearts to run. But you might be the spouse that's like, you know what, I'm just done. I'm done.
Yeah.
You know?
Or even, it may not even be as drastic as just completely running away, but almost like shutting down.
Yes.
Just complete shutdown, like, okay, fine. You know, I don't care.
You have your space, I'll have mine.
Yep.
Just, running. The third response that does not work is the response of begging or self-pity, where you're just you're saying, woe is me, he's never gonna forgive me, he's never gonna get over this, he's all, gosh, even talking with a couple recently, or I talked to a wife recently where the husband was depressed. And she's waiting on him to come out of that, oh, I'm not good enough. Oh, I'm not, just the self-pity and more of what I did was begging. Please forgive me. Please trust me. Please see how I've changed. It was all about me, and trying to get him to see that I really was trying. And guys, none of those three things work. They don't work. And any form of those things do not work. So I always laugh when I say the one thing that will work, because it's so cheesy sounding, but it's so true. So if you just know it's going to sound weird, but just welcome this thought in, is you have to, on your side of the wall, you have to build your own garden. And I get kind of emotional each time I talk about it, because that process was so freeing for me. So hard. Gosh, there were days that was hard. But it was life-changing for our marriage and for me, because what I had to do is I had to say, I can't fix him. Okay? There's nothing I can say, I can do to knock down that wall. So I had to turn my focus off of him and focus on what I was doing to become the godly wife that he deserved. And so I had to decide how I was going to lean in to the only person that could complete me, to the only person that could renew those things in me. And I had to start focusing on my relationship with the Lord. And I had to become somebody on my side of the wall worth him tearing the wall down for. So I just dug into my Bible studies and God-honoring friendships and people that would push me towards the Lord. Not those people like we've talked about that will just tell you anything you want to hear, but seeking out godly people who would push me in the right direction to become who I knew God wanted me to be. There's scripture that describes what a godly woman looks like and what a godly woman acts like and talks like and all of those things. And so you dig into that and decide, I'm going to be a person worth him taking out brick by brick, hit that the wall and tear it down and take it down. He has to do that. You can't do it. Same vice versa.
And the image is as she's building a garden on her side and she's taking care of herself and becoming that person, that the person on the other side of the wall kind of inches up closer and sticks her head over and that looks pretty good.
That's
right. And over time it becomes, okay, I'll bring the wall down a little bit and see what's happening as she's building that garden. And so and I was doing the same thing because I was waiting on you to become that person.
To quit being an idiot.
Yeah, exactly. So I was waiting on you to become that person. And so as you were doing that, I was on this side building my wall at the same time.
That's right.
Which was great because that doesn't always happen.
Building your garden.
Building my garden. But I was building my garden as you were building yours. And so a lot of times that doesn't happen though. It's one spouse that's kind of building their garden while they're waiting on the other.
That's right.
And we just happen to be in a situation where yes, you had to build yours because my wall was the wall that was built, but at the same time, I was working on my garden as I was.
And so just to say, and this may make it about 2 minutes longer, but I can already hear the question, what if I'm building my garden and my spouse is doing nothing? And I feel that I've met with those people. I've hurt with those people when there's just one person really, really working, and you just keep working.
Yeah.
You just keep stepping out of obedience and do what you're supposed to be doing. Another resource that we need to put out there is the How to Save Your Marriage Alone or by Yourself.
The book.
Yeah, the book. We'll get that. We'll
put it in the comments.
Yeah, we'll put it in the comments. But great book of how you're only responsible for you. You cannot change him. You cannot change her. So you focus on you, what you can do to be more God honoring, and just pray that God will bless your efforts, and that God will honor your efforts, and that it will bless your marriage.
Yeah, that's good. So, thanks for sharing that about building the wall and what you do when your spouse builds a wall. So I hope that that's helpful, because I know that there's a lot of ways that you can kind of twist that around and turn that around to fit your circumstance,
Right.
because it happens to everybody. And it can happen to the one that's been hurt and the one that did the hurting. So, that's just a great tool. And, it's one of those tools that we could go back and look at some other time when we
I would love to focus on each thing that you can do.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
So more depth later.
Yep. Well, that was day 9, and so hopefully you enjoyed that, and tomorrow will be day 10. We've got just a few more questions, 3 more questions, and so we're looking forward to sharing all the way up to Christmas Day with you. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching.